And we're back. And tell us what our haiku is.
His dying mother, paralyzed, feeling pain. She must be set free. We give the woman in the room 5 out of 5 blue chambray shirts.
Woo! Well, we have our next Dollar Baby live interview coming up. It is with Woman in the Room director Tyger Sharee.
Sharee.
I'm going, and we are. Is she with us? She is?
Yeah, can you hear me?
There?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay.
Hello, how are you? Welcome.
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Congratulations on a wonderful film.
Thank you.
Right off the bat, I have to ask you, Women in the Room was the first Dollar Baby movie made by Frank Darabont. Well, he got the rights first, and then it came out second after The Boogeyman. But you went straight for the Gusco for your first Dollar Baby. You went right for Frank's. Did you watch the original Woman in the Room, or what brought you to pick that story?
No, I didn't know that was the first one made. I looked at the list and I just picked the title I liked the best. And yeah, so I was like, oh, that sounds scary. And yeah, after I got approved to make it and to go forward, I read the story because I like going into stuff not knowing about it just to be a surprise, I guess. But and it's so weird. What happened was during this time, I was working as a CNA. So this was sort of the same field because I took care of people that had Alzheimer's and dementia. So it was
Right.
kind of like a weird coincidence how that happened.
It is a very weird coincidence. This is a heavy movie, a heavy story, because it's. I feel it's one of the most realistic of King's works. Do you prefer more of the realistic King's works, or as compared to his scary monsters and possessed cars type work?
Um, I think I do. I guess a lot more realistic. I guess I do like the horror and scary stuff, but I mean, I know one of my favorites is Shawshank Redemption, and
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I do. I tend to go more towards the dramatic side, even though I'm like a a horror fan and everything. But no, it was different to me because I usually work as a actor on a lot of like horror stuff, so I play a lot of like monsters, and I'm very familiar with it. So it was nice to kind of go the other way on that.
Now you mentioned acting, because this film is your first your directorial debut, but you mentioned acting. What kind of films have you been in? What kind of horror movies have you been in?
I do a lot of like short horror films that get made around Michigan. So I
Mhm.
work with usually Flint or the Detroit area. Um, I usually come back. I Most of the stuff I've been in, I usually get killed and come back and then kill someone. So that's what I'm used to. But yeah, I like playing monsters and being scary.
Yeah, I noticed that we had a lot of Easter eggs, King Easter eggs in the movie. But you also had Night of the Living Dead playing on the television that the character was watching. Was you a big fan of Romero and Night of the Living Dead and zombie films in general?
Um, yeah, I really like that. And it he mentioned it in the story Stephen King did of the patients that walked around like they looked like they're in Night of the Living Dead. So I kind of threw that in there. Plus, at the beginning, she says his name Johnny, so I was like, oh, it kind of works out perfectly. So I'll just throw that in there at the end.
And tell us how you first heard about the Deliberation Program that got you started. Where did you
So
hear? Where did you hear about it?
I heard about it first when I was going to school, 2015. I think my teacher brought it up and mentioned it, and I thought it was really cool. And I think when I looked it up, I don't think there was any stories that were available. Plus, I wasn't really like, I was more of going to school for acting. I never thought I'd be like a writer or director. So yeah, so like 5, 6 years down the line, I was like randomly at home one night. I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about these, and I looked it up and they were available. So I was like, oh, let me see if I'll just buy one and see what happens. And then here we are.
Where was the movie filmed? Because that one scene, that's the biggest hospital room I've ever seen for a patient. where was the movie filmed?
So the entire movie was filmed at the Masonic Temple in downtown Flint. A friend of mine has an office there. So that room that we used for the hospital room was, I think, like a old board room for like meetings and stuff like that.
Right.
And everything in that building is still like original from like the 20s and 30s. So
Wow.
there's a lot of like texture on the walls, and it is a really big room. And I was like, oh, maybe it's like a kind of hospital that's like for super wealthy people. So I was like, let's just shoot it pretty tight and maybe make it look smaller, because there's like a fireplace there too. I was like, I don't really kind of want to show that.
I know if I get sick, I want a room like that. Let's talk about your casting. Tell us about the auditions for your two main lead actors. Tell us how that went.
So everybody that was involved in this movie, I've either met through school, they were my friends, my sister was in it, and just actors I've worked with before on other projects. So the Antonio, Terry, and Mike, they were all my first choice. So I just randomly messaged them one day because I've watched them perform before, so I know what they're capable of. And I asked them, and they all said yes. So I like lucked out. And everybody did great.
Yeah.
So
And describe to us a typical day on the set of Woman in the Room.
So this was shot in 2 days in April, and it was freezing because the building had like zero heat.
Cold.
I think the first day was pretty long. And everybody got along. Everything was going smooth. And I think during our lunch break, Terry yelled something, and I ran over to her, and there was a car like engulfed in flames right next to the building. We're like, holy crap, how did that happen? So that was like the most exciting thing that happened. Nobody was hurt and everything was fine. But yeah, I feel like everything just went super smooth. And the second day, I feel like we got everything done pretty quick. So everybody is super professional, and yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better cast and crew.
That's cool. And how long was the actual shoot? Was it just a couple of weeks or a couple months, or?
No, just 2 days.
Just 2 days, huh? That's
Yeah,
it.
just
Doesn't
2 days.
take long. Get to work, people. Let's go.
The post-production took forever though, because this was my first like fully completed film, so I kind of want to make everything perfect. We had a lot of like issues and stuff like that, but yeah, shooting just 2 days.
And I noticed in the film, going back to the Easter eggs for a second, I saw a copy of Dr. Sleep on the coffee table and the old man in the wheelchair reading Misery. What was your first Stephen King book that you read?
I think it was a long time ago. I think I picked it up at like a old bookstore or something. I had to be 8. I think I was way too young to read it. I think it's Desperation. Is that the one with the doll on the cover?
The Desperation or Regulators. They kind of went. The covers kind of went together. But
I think it's Desperation. Well, I picked it up because I was super into Child's Play and all that. And I was like, ooh, a creepy doll on the cover. I'll take this. So,
So
that
you
was
say, go
what's
ahead.
that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, so that was the first book like I ever, I think bought and actually read. And then once I got older, I Misery, Pet Cemetery, you know, all the OGs.
The OGs. That's and what do you have coming up next? What can we look forward to in your coming from you?
So right now I'm filming another short film. We're filming it all in my apartment, which I didn't I didn't think through when I wrote it, but um, so it's because it's psychological thriller. This girl and her boyfriend move into this apartment, and she's the only one that is hearing and seeing things. He doesn't believe her till eventually she has a breaking point and is on her way to go to a inpatient facility, and then they end up finding something out. So
Okay.
basically all I can give without giving it away.
Okay. And is that going to be playing like on the film circuit, the film fest circuits, or where can people see that when it comes out?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it out to some film festivals and stuff like that.
Okay. And how many film fests have you been at? What was the farthest you've traveled to go to a film fest to show Women in the Room?
I think the furthest was the LA Women's Film Festival.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
California. Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Well, this one I couldn't go to it, but no, they were keeping me updated. I thought it was super cool. Like I knew like this was gonna get like good reviews and stuff like that, but I was like, this is like my first, film, so I was super nervous, and I was like glad to see it got to the other side of the states. So
You can't beat getting played in LA, that's for sure.
right.
Let's talk about the music of the movie. Who did the music and tell us about that.
So Jay James did the music. He does a lot of music in Flint, and dude, he did a fantastic job. I just told him, I was like, hey, so I sent him, a copy of the movie, and I was like, just, I'm open to whatever, just do whatever, and then if I have any notes, I'll send you notes. So he got back to me in a couple of days, and I was like, dude, like I have 0 notes, like you did awesome, like I didn't have to change a thing. And I was like, you did great, and I thought he caught, he caught the tone of the movie, and he did it so well. But that was the first time I worked with him, and yeah, so he's like big into music here in Flint.
Okay. The last question I was going to ask you, Tyger. Most all the babies, they say, what advice would you give up and coming filmmakers? But since this is your first Dollar Baby and your first directorial debut, what advice was given to you?
I didn't get any advice. I mean, for like, I got advice from like, some of my friends that prior to this, I guess, not, but they said, just have fun, take risks on it. I mean, like, be original, and, maybe, and just have fun. I mean, I had fun. I worked with everybody I knew. We all got to hang out for a few days, and it's not bad to have on your resume either.
No, it's not. So I maybe squeak one more last question in here. Would you be open to do another Dollar Baby? And if so, what Stephen King adaptation would you like to do?
Yeah, I would say probably like in a year or so, just to see how, far I've grown as like a writer and a director. I would probably do Here There Be Tigers, because I didn't even see that on the list, and I was like, dude, and I was like, it's even spelt the same. Like, how crazy is that? Well, I mean, I would probably do that one.
All right. Well, listen, everybody. Let's give a round of applause to Tyger for being here with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the film and for being part of the festival. And we look forward to your future projects.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.